Ever find yourself thinking about EV batteries? Like, how long do they actually last? Or maybe you worried about the cost, if you ever had to replace one. And what that all means for the planet. It's a pretty common thought. And honestly, it's getting more important as well, as more of us get into electric or hybrid cars. So today we're doing a deep dive into something really, really key for the future of sustainable transport. We're looking at EV battery regeneration, specifically focusing on some really cutting edge work that's happening right now in Italy. We've basically got this pile of sources here, all about Italian companies who are, you could say, leading the charge. Yeah, couldn't resist the pun in
Yeah.
making EV and hybrid batteries last longer. Our mission really is to pull out the key bits of info, those little nuggets of knowledge, so you can quickly get a handle on who's doing what, how they're managing it, and crucially, why it matters, why it's important for you and, well, the whole car world.
You've really hit on something critical there. This sector, it's not just significant, it's becoming essential. Think about it. The number of electric and hybrid cars on the road is just climbing, like exponentially. So the need for solid, sustainable ways to manage the whole battery life cycle. It's not just a nice to have anymore. It's an economic must-have, an environmental one too. Battery regeneration isn't just some niche service. It's actually fundamental if we want to build an EV ecosystem that's truly sustainable and, importantly, cost-effective for the long term. It's about going beyond just driving electric. It's making the whole process from making the battery to its end of life truly circular.
Okay, so if it's that vital, why the big push for regeneration? Why are companies investing so much in fixing these batteries instead of just, making new ones all the time? What's the real driver here?
Well, there are quite a few really compelling reasons. Big benefits that make regeneration, honestly, a bit of a game changer. First, think environmentally. It cuts down waste massively. Just picture the sheer amount of stuff inside a single EV battery pack. If we can restore these instead of just tossing them, we're saving incredibly valuable materials. Things like lithium, cobalt, nickel. A lot of these are finite. And getting them out of the ground, processing them, that takes a heavy toll, resource-wise and environmentally. Then there's the economics. Regeneration is, simply put, a much more affordable way forward compared to buying a brand new, often very expensive battery pack. This directly lowers the total cost of owning an EV or hybrid. It makes them more accessible, really, to more people. And it means the cars we already have can stay on the road longer, more affordably. Performance-wise, too, modern techniques can often bring batteries back, too, like near original capacity and efficiency. So you're extending the car's life and keeping its performance up. And what's really interesting is, while this is still kind of a young field globally, Italy actually has some pretty established players already making serious innovative moves.
Okay, let's unpack that a bit. You mentioned established players. RigenBat, that name came up. Sounds like they're trying to cover the whole battery journey, right? Start to finish. What's their approach about exactly? And why is that kind of comprehensive view so important?
RigenBat is definitely a prime example of that holistic vision. Our sources paint them as a key partner in Italy for battery regeneration across a really wide range of vehicles. We're talking EVs, plug-in hybrids, PHEVs, even mild hybrids. And their services are broad. They design, they build, they repair, regenerate, and they even help with the recycling side of lithium batteries. It's not just cars either. They handle batteries for electric scooters, boats, e-bikes, you name it. They work with different chemistries too, the common Li-ion, the Stabler LiFePO4, and even the older NiMH batteries found in many hybrids. And their track record, well, it speaks for itself. Over 300 projects done, more than 100 clients happy, and that's in just over a year of really consolidated work. They mainly operate in Italy, using certified gear and, crucially, expert staff.
Huh. So a company that does everything from the initial design right through to the recycling part, that's really something. It feels like they're not just fixing a problem after it happens, but trying to shape how the whole battery life cycle works. What does that kind of end-to-end involvement tell us about where the industry might be heading?
That's a really sharp observation. That kind of full spectrum approach, it signals a big shift. It means battery companies aren't just manufacturers anymore. They're becoming stewards, really, of energy storage from cradle to, well, maybe not grave, but cradle to reuse. This changes the old model, the traditional car parts supply chain. It's moving towards something more integrated where sustainability and using resources smartly are baked in right from the start. It's basically being proactive about a huge growing environmental challenge.
Interesting. But then you've got companies like Ebreeda. They seem more focused like purely on the repair and regeneration side. What makes them different and how does their approach kind of fit in with what RigenBat is doing?
Right, Ebreeda is another key Italian player. They've got bases set up in Milan, Turin, and Rome, strategically placed. And their core business is that specialized repair and regeneration, specifically focusing on hybrid and electric car batteries. They offer a pretty complete service package. It starts with diagnosis, finding out exactly what's wrong with the battery, then careful disassembly, making sure it's done safely. Transporting these high-voltage units safely is a big deal, obviously. And then the regeneration itself, which can involve replacing components if needed. But here's a really key thing, something that should probably stand out to you listening. They offer warranties. Warranties on the regenerated batteries, anywhere from 12 up to 36 months.
Wow, 36 months.
Exactly. That's huge for building consumer confidence, right? It's basically saying this is as reliable as a new part. Now, currently, a lot of their focus is on those NiMH batteries common in older hybrids,
Right.
but they're actively researching and expanding, looking to handle the newer battery types too. They've been doing this for nearly 3 years, investing significantly in R&D to keep improving how they regenerate batteries, both current ones and what's coming next.
A warranty on a regenerated battery.
Yeah, that is incredibly reassuring. It hits directly at that worry people have about, refurbished stuff. Definitely builds trust in the idea that these restored batteries can be reliable long term. Okay, now this is where I think it gets really interesting. We're not just talking passenger cars, are we? Tell us about flash battery. They seem to be in a totally different space, more industrial.
Absolutely. It's definitely not just about the car in your driveway. Flash Battery, they started back in 2012. They're a major Italian player. But they don't just produce batteries. They manage customized lithium batteries. Apparently, they're among the most sold in Italy for certain applications. Their focus is really distinct, very specialized. They design, they produce, and this is key, they offer remote monitoring for batteries. But these are batteries specifically for industrial vehicles, big operating machines. Think forklifts in a warehouse, autonomous guided vehicle, or maybe even farm equipment. They've really honed in on solutions that allow for fast charging and need much less maintenance. That's critical in industry where downtime costs a lot of money. And their scale is pretty impressive. Over 25,000 batteries made, more than 500 megawatt hours installed across different industrial sectors.
Right.
It's quite a lot of energy storage. Plus, they're not just using off-the-shelf tech. They actually develop their own innovative internal battery management systems, BMS. That's like the brain of the battery pack, right? Constantly checking voltage, current, temperature, making sure everything's safe, performing well, and lasting as long as possible. Developing that in-house really shows their technical depth.
Wow, okay. Seeing flash batteries work in industrial stuff really does widen the picture. It makes you wonder, how much overlap is there? Can you use the same regeneration tricks on a car battery as, say, a massive forklift battery? The remote monitoring, the sheer industrial scale. It shows this field is way broader than just consumer cars.
Wow.
It's clearly not a one-size-fits-all situation. It's complex, multi-layered.
That's a great point. And while the basic science, the chemistry, the electrochemistry is similar, the actual application is quite different. Industrial batteries often face much tougher conditions, right? They need different shapes, sizes. Durability and fast charging are usually prioritized over maybe looking sleek. But the core ideas, the diagnostics, repairing or replacing cells, often those techniques can be adapted. And that remote monitoring you mentioned, that gives incredibly valuable data, whether it's for a car or a forklift. It helps predict problems, allows for smarter maintenance, and makes regeneration more efficient overall.
Right. Okay, let's shift gears slightly. What about supporting the whole EV ecosystem? Reinova came up. They seem focused on business-to-business services, B2B, and they have these mobile units. That sounds intriguing. How does their model help businesses like fleet managers, and what's the deal with these mobile units? Why are they a potential game changer?
Reinova, yeah, they offer what they describe as an all-inclusive package. It's aimed squarely at professional clients. Think workshops, companies managing big fleets of vehicles, even body shops dealing with EV repairs. Their services cover a lot of ground. The actual repair work, making sure all the safety procedures for handling high voltage stuff are followed, advanced monitoring systems, and even training staff at these businesses so they know how to handle EV batteries properly and safely. But the unique feature, the potential game changer you flagged, is their ability to do interventions on site. They have these specially equipped mobile units. Just imagine you've got a critical delivery van, an EV that's suddenly offline. Every hour it's not running. Costs the business money, right? These mobile units mean they don't necessarily have to ship that huge, heavy, potentially hazardous battery pack off to some specialized center miles away. It makes the whole process way more efficient, cuts down on logistical nightmares, reduces downtime for businesses. Their main goal is really ensuring safety and sustainability for these professional users, keeping their electric and hybrid fleets running smoothly with minimum interruption.
That really does sound like it could revolutionize fleet management. Bringing the expert right to the workshop or the depot. It cuts downtime, sure, but it also reduces the risks involved in moving those big batteries around. It just streamlines everything for businesses, makes specialized help available even if there isn't a dedicated repair center nearby.
Precisely. It's a logistical innovation, but it has direct bottom-line benefits. Cost savings, better operational efficiency for companies relying on EVs. It's about solving problems before they become huge headaches.
Okay, so we've got these big players, industrial specialists, B2B services. But what does it all mean for, the average person with an EV or a hybrid? Are there smaller, more local options too, sort of the local heroes providing these services, or is it mainly the big corporate names?
Oh, yes, absolutely. It's not just the big guys. Alongside them, there's actually a really vibrant network of smaller, specialized local workshops. They cater directly to individual car owners and smaller businesses. We saw some great examples in the sources. Officina in Milan, Officina Nadeo down in Padova, Dr. Hybrid Battery up in Monza. These workshops often zero in on regeneration and replacement, specifically for hybrid car batteries, which, as we mentioned, often use that NiMH technology. Some, like Dr. Hybrid Battery, get really specialized. They might have deep expertise in certain brands like Toyota or Lexus hybrids. And importantly, they often provide warranties too, maybe 12 months, just like the bigger outfits. They do the regular maintenance on high-voltage batteries, operate in the aftermarket, serving both private drivers and companies, offered with really competitive pricing. And then there's e-mobility service, another good example. They specialize in something called reselling.
Reselling, what's that exactly?
It means instead of replacing the whole battery pack, they identify and replace just the individual faulty cells or modules within the pack. They have their own lab to diagnose and do this precise work for scooters, motorbikes, cars. It's about targeted repair.
Got it. So if we try to pull all these threads together, all these different Italian companies, from the big comprehensive ones to local specialists, what are the common themes? What are the key technologies or approaches we're seeing again and again across this whole landscape?
What's really striking, I think, is how much common ground there is in their core approaches and the strong focus on a few key things that seem vital for success. Across the board, the main technologies being used for regeneration seem to be 1. Module replacement, so finding a weak brick or module in the big battery pack and swapping it for a tested, healthy one. The other big technique is chemical cell repair. That's more intricate. It's about trying to revitalize the actual chemistry inside the cells, maybe rebalancing charge, clearing blockages, reversing some degradation without physically replacing the cell, and advanced monitoring systems like flash battery uses. Those are absolutely essential too, for diagnosis, predicting problems, and just making the whole regeneration process smarter. And underpinning all of this is a really strong, consistent focus on safety and durability. Which makes sense, right? You're dealing with powerful batteries, you need expertise, careful procedures. It's also crystal clear that this is a sector that's growing fast in Italy. It's still evolving, sure, but there are serious players already established and really pushing the innovation.
So we can definitely expect to see more options, wider availability of these regeneration technologies as the number of EVs and hybrids keeps climbing, both in Italy and, frankly, everywhere else.
Yeah, what we've managed to unpack today really shows Italy is stepping up, becoming a genuine hub for innovation in making EV and hybrid batteries last longer. It's clearly not just about simple repairs. It's this whole dynamic, connected ecosystem of services that are constantly improving.
Absolutely. And this deep focus on regenerating, on reusing these critical components. It's not just about saving money, though. That's obviously a huge plus. It really represents a fundamental move towards a properly circular economy for how we get around. It paves the way for a much more sustainable future, where we make the most of precious resources and cut down on waste. It's a vital piece of the puzzle, maybe one we don't talk about enough, for making EVs truly mainstream and environmentally responsible in the long run.
So, what does all this mean for you when you're thinking about your next car? Or maybe for the one you already drive, thinking about its longevity? Knowing these advancements are happening right now, well, it definitely gives you something powerful to consider, doesn't it? And hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive today, especially if you happen to be listening from Italy, here's a quick message just for you. Se questo approfondimento ti è piaciuto, metti un like e iscriviti al canale per non perderti i prossimi.